All by myself. All by myself. I'm sitting here all by myself. It's gonna be fun. We have like 4 folks who saved a spot for tonight, but we have 4. Very possible, but you could have none. We could have 4. However many people show up, it's going to be really fun. We're working on some intro for the beginning of this. Aha, we have somebody here, but it's a teammate. And it's a teammate, not but. So, yay! It's Luke Wilkes. Hi, Luke. I can't hear you. Can you say something?
There we go.
I was just sitting there singing a song. All by myself. I'm sitting there. I didn't think anybody was going to show up last time, but they ended up coming, you know. It was like,
yeah, it came right at the buzzer.
Right at the buzzer. So we'll see if anybody shows up tonight. And if not, maybe we'll sit around and tell jokes all day.
Yeah, make the YouTube channel fun.
Yeah. I can't wait to have like a, you know what, one of the things, I like a whole lot of things about what we do. But one of my favorite things is being able to do something that is like, makes so much sense, that doesn't require any type of nuanced language, that you can do it on YouTube. So, you know, we'll probably have like 3 viewers of this video, and, you know, maybe someday some people will watch it, but it's just neat. Sharon came, so we are not all by ourselves. Would you like to let Sharon in?
I'm not a host.
I'm going to make you a co-host so that you can mute people and stuff if need be. Then I'm going to share my screen.
Cool. I'm letting her in.
There we go. Hi, John and Abby, if y'all are watching. John, I hope you're paying more attention to Abby than you are this video. Sharon, welcome. We'll get started in a couple minutes. Thank you for being here tonight. It sounded kind of cheesy, didn't it? Oh, she's connecting to audio. She can't even hear me. Thank you for being here. You get to listen to a radio voice. Hi, Sharon. Is your audio working yet? Do you want to send a note to her to ask her if her audio is working? Or Sharon, can you hear me now? If I could sign, I gotta say like mahalo. There we go. The audio is connecting. The audio is connecting. Yeah, I think the audio came on. Hi, Sharon. Can you unmute yourself? I'll ask you to unmute.
Oh, there it is.
Yay! So is that Sharon who's joining us, or somebody on Sharon's account?
No, it's Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. How are you doing? You never know if it's actually your name or one of the kids' names. They've been going to school on Zoom, and we sure are grateful to have you. And we had 4 people sign up tonight, but I think they remembered it was the Cinco de Mayo.
Ah, yes.
So if you have a margarita or something and you want to imbibe, we have fun talking to people no matter what happens. But if you just want to hang out with us for a couple of minutes, that'll work too. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I'm good. I'll just hang out for a few minutes. I'm not a drinker, so.
Well, what caused you to make such a smart decision regarding that?
My husband's actually a recovering alcoholic. So to support him.
I couldn't have picked a worse person to talk about having.
No, I mean, I've had my time. I'm good.
It's like I have completed that course.
Yes. Yeah. Check, done.
Thank you for being the kind of partner willing to walk somebody through those 12 steps.
Oh, please. He's worth it.
Very cool. Well, we're going to do some introductions here in a second, but we just had Elizabeth join us, so we'll wait for her to hop on.
Okay.
Ask to start her video. If she's got her thing on or not. Am I echoing to y'all too?
No, you're good.
Okay. Sharon, thanks for coming. Hi, Elizabeth. Do you go by Elizabeth or Liz? And Daisy came too. Everybody showed up. I guess I was wrong about the Cinco de Mayo. Look at me with all that judgment, Sharon. I thought you guys decided to go party on Cinco de Mayo instead of come, but I'm glad you made it. Thank you for being here. So this is 3 out of 4. Are y'all all right if we just went ahead and got started?
It's fine.
And I can hear an echo. So if you could, no, I can't hear it anymore. We're good. But if it starts to echo, Luke, you can use some people part-time. I just want to take a minute at the very beginning, invite you guys to read what's on the screen, just to kind of set the tone for what we're going to go through. And if you could just raise your hand when you're finished reading, we can get started. Didn't know there was going to be a reading lesson today. Reading test.
Glad my glasses are.
Wow, you were a fast reader, Elizabeth. Thank you. Hi, Daisy. Glad Is that a hand raised, Daisy?
Yes.
Got some poetry there, some second grade rhyming poetry. And then we'll get started here in just a second. So Sharon, you almost there?
I'm good. I'm good.
So
Hey, and Sharon, if I mute you, it's not trying to be rude. It's just because you got a little bit of an echo going on.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
yeah, and you can also just turn your volume down a little bit. That'll usually take care of it. Well, welcome. My name's Lester. That's me without glasses on and a pink shirt, looking way too serious. And that's Ovanova co-founder, John Carey, with the bow tie on. We've been meeting with groups now for about 6 years. And we're grateful to have y'all tonight. And we know how busy everybody is. We'll let George in too. He's not that terribly late. We'll go 4 for 4. We haven't done introductions. So some other people on the team, Luke, you see him there. He loves wearing a baseball hat. It might be the same one. There's Luke. What's that dog's name, Luke?
Oh, that's Dixie. That's
So-
Emily's parents' dog. Yeah. Can't take credit.
And this is our teammate, Holly. I think she's like Fit Mom or on Instagram or something. Luke and Holly were the ones who made those designs that you might have received earlier in your email. And then Luke's a friend of ours, or Trey's a friend of ours who helps out too. We don't know the T-Rex or the movie characters, but we just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Can y'all see that crazy looking screen with all of us on there? Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started. George, you want to turn on your camera real quick? Elizabeth, turn on your camera real quick and your microphone on so we can do the fundraising part. The fundraising is really easy. It just involves introducing yourself with your camera on, being a homeowner, and not being in a car, as you might have read. But this is an experience we created for y'all where did anybody not receive the design that we sent? Or you might have been too busy to check your email. Did you, Sharon, you didn't get it?
I got it. I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Isn't it amazing how busy we get? You know, we're not even working in the fields, like planting with our mules or anything anymore. We did all these things in the last century and we're still super busy all the time. And tomorrow we will send you this thing called open book pricing, explaining all the numbers and what you received and a way to get back in touch with us if you would like. But tonight we're going to, a lot of times people wonder, how long does this last? Well, intros will take maybe 10 minutes, but that's usually if there's 15 people there. So this will probably take like 4 minutes. Then we're going to talk about clarity on your current electric situation, take about 5. Go over the 4 basic concepts that we've learned people want to know about from talking to 500 people so far this quarter and thousands over the last 5 years. And so at about 1/2 past the hour, We'll be in the completely optional part about this, which will be up to you. I don't have anything to do the rest of the night. So I can be here for as long as you like for me to be, or you can kick me out and hang up on me whenever you want to, but we're glad you came. So let's start with some intros. And as soon as we do these introductions, you will have raised $50 for the organization you came to support. So Luke, would you like to begin? So actually, let me tell you a story real quick. I want to do the intros like this tonight. I lived in New York for like 5 years. And one of the things I really loved was the taxi cab. I love the taxis. And one night, one of my buddies came to visit me and his wife, and it was raining really hard. You know, those rains that y'all have in Florida right before a hurricane or during a hurricane? Well, it wasn't that bad, but it was a lot of rain in New York. And on really rainy nights, everybody likes the cabs. And it's hard to find a cab. And I had my friend with me. He's like, why don't you just use Uber? And at the time, I had never heard of Uber. I'm like, what's wrong with you? There's New York, there's tons of cabs. And he was trying to tell me about it. And I just wasn't having it. I was just like, what are you talking about? I don't even understand what you mean. Uber, what do you mean? But you know what? I finally figured out what Uber was, and I was able to get rid of my car while I lived there and while I lived in LA. And that's an example of a form of technology that changed my life. Sometimes we ask people, I'm going to ask y'all too, like, what's something you learned about that made a big difference in your life? Sometimes people say air fryers. There's no wrong answer to this question, but we'll start with Luke. If you can tell us your name, where you are, who you came to support, and then something you've learned about that made life easier for you.
Cool. Hey, everybody. I'm Luke. I'm currently in Indianapolis, Indiana, and part of the Ovanova team. So just here to support the organizations that y'all are here to support. But something that I learned about, I haven't really used it very much, but it's the grocery delivery services. And so like when I was laid up in my knee, I was didn't want to go to the grocery store and ride around one of those carts. So I got groceries delivered, and it made everything so much easier.
Great
But
job.
I will pick Daisy to go next.
Something that made my life easier. I would say all these new apps like the Zelle and like all these apps where you can send payment online. It's also something very convenient. And like I'm teaching myself how to use those apps like, you know, Apple Pay, PayPal, Zelle, all of these. I find them very convenient to send money through.
I think it's a great example, Daisy. Where are you from and who'd you come to support tonight?
I'm from Tampa, and I came to support my daughter, Leticia, in Sun Lake High School.
Oh, the band?
Yes, the band.
Well, thank you for bringing music into the world, and what a wonderful name for a high school. We're really big into the sun around here. So who would you like to hear from next?
Sharon?
Okay, so I am Sharon. I'm also here for Sun Lake High School. My daughter Sarah is in the color guard. You know, everybody's thinking technology for making things easier for them, but I'd have to say the fact me teaching my children how to drive has made my life easier.
It's like making your own little robot. You have a self-driving car, but you got a person doing it now.
Yes.
Well,
They can go out and pick up dinner now, so that's one less thing I have to do.
well, thank you for the original answer. That was funny. I like it. Sharon, who would you like to hear from next? There's only two more folks.
Oh, I didn't catch names. I don't know. Help me out.
Well, George is one of the people who were on here.
Okay, George, it is.
Hey, how are you doing? My name is George. I'm here supporting my daughter. She goes to Brown Academy Prep, and sitting here in sunny South Florida.
And so Darrell, we worked with the cheer team last fall, but I think this is for the performing arts part of the school, right?
Correct. Yeah, she's in orchestra department.
Very cool. Well, George, thank you for being here today. I'm grateful to have you. And we only have one person left. One of these things is not like the other. You want to introduce yourself to us? think you
Hi,
might.
my name is Elizabeth. I'm also here supporting Sophia, the Jarrell Performing Arts Academy Orchestra. Sunny South Florida. We were just in the pool and we got the reminder of this meeting, so we jumped right out.
Well, you got the same background my partner does when he runs this. It's nice to see you in space. We'll try to get you back to the pool as soon as you can. Just
Sounds
ask
great.
for your attention for a few minutes. So what's an example of something I forgot to ask George, but what's an example of something that made your life easier that you learned about?
The reminders.
They are nice, aren't they? So, George, how about you? Oh, you got muted again, brother.
Oh, sorry, I was still muted. So yes, all the meetings and reminders really helped a lot.
Well, y'all, you just raised $50 for the organizations you came to raise. Thank you. So here's you give yourself a thumbs up, a pat on the back, whatever you want to do, you did it. So the reason we do our fundraiser that way is because it kind of sounds too good to be true. Just like Uber did to me when I heard about it in New York, like maybe online payments or having your kid drive sounded too good to you. Does that make sense why we use that example? And hopefully you see now that it's possible, even if it sounded too good to be true. And it is our sincere belief that solar energy is one of those things where it's just a really neat thing that people aren't using because they haven't had a way to have their questions answered yet. And also because, heck, you guys aren't using solar right now, but you still have electricity. What we're doing right now works pretty well. So we are 10 minutes in. We've done intros. So is it okay before we talk about solar, if we just get together on like what we're currently doing to make this conversation possible when we plug our computers in? So let's talk about the reality of our current situation. So that's not the right slide. I must have pulled up the wrong slide today. Well, man, I had a pretty slide in here like 15 minutes ago. So we'll get to that in a second. I'm just going to ask you these questions. Here you go. We just made this new today, so this was in the wrong spot. Here's the clarity on the current situation. How long, this take 5 minutes. How long do you guys intend to use electricity?
Forever.
Right. So have you ever thought about the fact that that means that you will have an electricity bill forever?
Every
What was that?
month.
Every month, just like other things that happen every month. So, it's like, so if you plan to use electric, so George, a lot of times people get on here when we're talking about solar and Elizabeth, and they ask questions like, what's the return on my investment for solar? So here's another question that we don't think about very often is what's a return on investment on your electricity bill that you're currently paying? Is that not a good question?
We get what we pay for.
Yeah, you get electricity. That's a pretty good return, right? from a financial standpoint, though, will there ever be a point where your electricity bill is paid off?
No.
No.
Right. So your return is negative 100%. And then something else that's really weird about how we make electricity is like, are you make A, B, B, C? Told you it was a new slide. So as far as where is it made, if things are important, you want to make them at home. You make love at home, not on the road if you're in a good relationship. And so your electricity is made a long ways away from you, not at home most of the time. And most people like to keep the things at home that matter. And that was like a really racy example. I apologize if that was too much. It just kind of hit my head today. But it's kind of weird to think that your electricity is made like hundreds of miles perhaps away from us when it's something that's so important to us for all the things that we use it for. So before I talk to you about solar, I just want to get on the same page that we all know that what we just said was, we've got this thing that we need called electricity, but the only way we can currently access it is by paying a never-ending bill. And that's kind of a bummer. So that was those 5 minutes, and we're still on schedule. Is everybody on the same page with me there? Not too boring? Okay.
Yep.
So now we got 4 basic solar concepts, and then I'll stick around as long as you want to talk about how they work. So here's your 4 basic concepts about solar, and I'll ask y'all, this is what things want to know. If there's anybody that's real smart and has already heard this stuff, then please answer instead of me, not Luke, but the rest of y'all. So do y'all know how solar works when it's cloudy or rainy or dark outside? Yeah, it doesn't very well. At night, it doesn't work at all. And when it's cloudy or rainy, it barely works or doesn't work quite as well. It's not true to say it doesn't work when it's cloudy. If you can see your mailbox, if you have enough light to see your mailbox, then you have enough light to make solar energy. But it doesn't make as much as it would on a day, on a clear day, because it's actually the sunlight that your solar panels use, and they turn free sunlight into valuable electricity. So it's the light, not the heat, the light that makes your electricity. Now, but it probably doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in you to hear that solar panels don't work at night. It's common sense when you really think it through, but y'all are, it's almost nighttime where you are. Wouldn't it be a bummer if you couldn't use electricity after dark? So the way that works, y'all, is that you're still connected to TECO or FPL, and your electricity works exactly the same as it always has. So that's the first thing to let you know, is that during the day, you make the electricity your house needs, and everybody on this call will be making more than their house needs during the day. And then what do you think you do with the leftovers? Since you're still
Back to
connected.
the power grid.
Yeah, exactly, Elizabeth. Thank you. You put it back on the good job. You give it back on the power grid. She's in her bathing suit, probably. So I didn't see anything. You give it back to your neighbors, and then you get a credit for it that you exchange at night. So you don't even have to pay for the electricity you use at night. You pay for it by making more than you need during the day. Which brings us to our second thing people like to know is, like, does anybody have any of y'all heard that solar is expensive or thought it was expensive or a high upfront cost? Okay, a couple of you. Have any of you also heard that solar saves money? Okay, so some people, like Elizabeth raised her hand for both, Sharon raised her hand for both. So how is that possible? How can something be expensive and save money?
Expensive upfront.
It used to be. Have you heard that you can actually go solar without spending any of your money up front now? $0 down. Is that hard to believe though? In 2021, where you can finance a softball bat, you can walk into an Apple store and walk out with an iPhone, pay nothing, and just make monthly payments, that solar would work the same way. So if you've ever thought I can't go solar because I don't have a bunch of cash up front, that's just not the case anymore. But that's a very good answer. What else can you think of? Any other? Anything else along those lines? How can something be expensive and save money? You already have an example of something like this in your life, actually. Is one of the requirements for creating a donation for the organization you came to support. All of you guys are homeowners, right?
Yes.
Are homes expensive?
Oh yeah.
Especially right now, right? They're all, is it the same where y'all are too? Like, is it just the real estate's going crazy? Okay. So then how in the world can a house save you money?
Equity.
Well, equity is pretty awesome. But even if you weren't
Cheaper
making,
than
even if you, what's that?
cheaper than rent.
Why? Yes.
Not always, but
Not always. It depends. If you had like a tiny studio apartment, you build a 5-bedroom house, and your mortgage is going to be more expensive. But you know what's cool about your mortgage is that one day, aren't you going to pay it off? Hopefully, it might seem like forever, maybe, you know, or maybe your grandkids will pay it off. Like, but that's the cool thing about solar is that it's just like your mortgage, except for it doesn't require down payment. Because even if you didn't own a home, you need a place to live. So you're going to be paying for rent. And how many months do you have to pay your rent before you own your apartment? I mean,
Never owned it.
does that kind of remind you of your electricity bill?
Yes.
Solar is actually something you can own. And even if you do it for $0 down, your monthly payment in most cases, unless you have a whole lot of trees, which I think one of y'all does, maybe it was Daisy. Daisy, somebody who's in the person from New Jersey show up? Nope. Okay. Oh, that was the last. So is everybody on here, Luke, can you let these fine humans know how much money they would save if they chose to go solar? This is using the most expensive financing. Well, not the most, but you can, if you're smart with money and you know things like HELOCs, home equity, and you have decent credit, you can get loans for less than this. But this is assuming you have like a 730 credit score. You only need a 680 to do it 0 down. And spending $0 a month for a 21-year loan, which is better than infinity. So Luke, how much would these guys save? Because
Yeah, so George and Elizabeth, y'all would save $35.77 a month. Sharon, it would be $186.20, and then Daisy would be $39.83.
so everybody on here is literally losing money but paying rent, essentially. Solar also increases the value of your home. Does it kind of make sense that a house that can make its own electricity would be more valuable, like a refrigerator that can make its own food? And if you've gone through all the trouble of putting it up there, which is not that much trouble, secret, it's real easy. But if somebody thinks you've gone through all the trouble, when they buy your house, they'll also pay for that. And so the return on your investment in solar is day one, but I'm kind of getting off topic here. But are y'all clear how something could sound expensive? But Elizabeth, was that you that said compared to rent, it costs less? Was that Sharon? I know it wasn't George. I think it was Sharon. I have a hard time seeing y'all sometimes. So Sharon, here's an example of what you said. This is an example of somebody that's only spending $127 a month. And I know I looked at y'all's energy bills or what you said you spent, and y'all are probably wishing you could spend $127 a month. It would be like the greatest thing ever, right? And so I know George is spending 2 or 3 times that. And then if you did that for 25 years, by the way, we use 25 years because that's how long a solar panel is guaranteed to work. So it's the amount of time you're guaranteed to be able to make your energy yourself if you did buy solar panels. Over that same period, you would pay the utility company $38,000. So, you know, George, to use you as an example here, if you're paying $250 a month, this is what we'll send you tomorrow. If you're spending $250 a month, over 25 years, George is going to spend $75,000. What it would cost him to go solar is less than half of what he would spend for the same electricity. But that number that Luke gave was based on a 0 down payment with all the interest involved. So George here, if he wanted to, could go solar and finance it for 0 down and save $36 a month the first month. Or if he's the kind of guy who likes to pay cash, over 25 years, you take all the interest. You guys know you bought a home. Some of y'all probably got 15-year mortgages. Some of you got 30. That's just based on your personal preference. If you've ever seen that sheet that says, what's it called, amortization sheet, where you realize how much you're not paying down and how much interest you are paying? So if you don't like to pay interest and you do have a savings account, you can buy your solar panels just outright, which makes your electricity bill go away. And then you could pay yourself back $116 a month. And at the end of 25 years, all of your money would be back. And you'd have an extra $133 a month. So that's how something can be expensive and save money at the same time. Did any of y'all know about the tax credit, the federal tax credit? Sharon, do you want to tell your friends, or Elizabeth, tell everybody about that? Or you want me to do it? Luke, you want to do it?
I think she's trying to get unmuted. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I just know that there's a tax credit. I don't know how much it is.
It's 26% of the entire cost of going solar. So George's would be $12,000. So next year, George, when you're filing your taxes, if you go solar, you get a $12,000 tax credit. Because the US government's like, what's that face about? Does that sound too good to be true? Like that?
Yeah.
Like that donation just for showing up? It's like, so feel free to Google it or ask me questions about it when we get to the Q&A. But it's true. In George's case, he would be spending $12,000. He would get a tax credit. George, are you a W-2 or 1099?
W-2.
So if you're a W-2, it means that your refund is bigger. If you're 1099, it means you pay less.
It's going to help with FAFSA too.
What do you mean by a FAFSA? Oh, yeah. For student loan stuff, is that FAFSA? I haven't thought about FAFSA in years. Yeah, I guess it would. Thank you, Elizabeth. You just gave me a new thing to tell people. Yeah, it's good to lower your income when you're trying to apply for your school and kids. So that's just to show you, that's what number 2 means. That's how solar can be more expensive and save money at the same time. We've only got 2 minutes left. How many solar panels do I need? Does anybody know how you figure that out? Well, what we did was we used that number you gave us, where you told us how much electricity you need to make. And so, for instance, with Daisy, you know, she needs 48 panels to make the amount of electricity she needs to make to get rid of her electricity bill. George needs 67. Sharon, you guys have a lot of electricity usage, girl. Was this number right? Do you really spend $500 a month on electricity, or is that a typo?
No, that's correct.
So Sharon needed 102. Because Sharon spends $500 a month in electricity that she needs to be able to make herself, which is why we have them all over her house.
Yes, I'm on a well and septic, so that also boosts my electric bill.
Oh, then you don't need nearly this many panels then. We would, whenever we get back together, we can look at just the electric portion of it.
Okay.
And that's a really good example that we just went through about why we're really working on guesses here. But these numbers are not a guess if your number that you wrote down was right. But we know how easy it is to just put a number in to finish filling out a long form. And so just know that a $50 difference in the average can make a $9,000 difference in the overall price, because $50 a month adds up. You know, $100 a month is $12,000 after 10 years, $24,000 after 20, and you get the idea. Like, it adds up quick. So Sharon, we'll be glad to go over that with you. But the way we determine how many solar panels you need is how much electricity do you need to make. And then we do this neat thing, this analysis I'll show you, where we zoom in on your house. There's your house, Sharon. So since we now know that Sharon does not actually need all of that electricity, we would just go in and click some panels off. I'm starting here because the shade tree might affect this some. So these are the least efficient panels. And we don't know what our exact usage is, and I don't want to bore you, but did you see that thing that was like, did you see all those lines that were on here whenever I first got on? That's the sunshine, and I meant to leave that on, but if you click, you can see the actual sun's path is done for you. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm being a little monkey here, not doing a good job of showing you this, but we look at how much sunlight each part of your roof gets. We put solar panels on there, and then since they've been around since 1954, we use government data about how much sunlight you get. So your solar panels are determined by how much electricity you need to make. And it's also determined by where you want to put them. Because a panel facing south will make more electricity than one facing east and west. But maybe you don't want them on the southern facing roof of your house. That's okay. You'll just need to buy more panels to make the same amount of electricity. But it's still better than a never-ending bill. Even if your mortgage costs $10 a month more than your rent, it's still a good thing. And so, any questions about that? Or does that make sense about how we figure out how many panels you need? Okay. Last thing, I'm a minute overdue. We all forgive me since we started a little bit late. We do the last one here. What maintenance or unforeseen expenses might come along? Anybody ever have a pet rock when y'all were growing up? I didn't either, but I like asking that question. I find a lot of people did. The reason a pet rock is relevant here is because pet rocks do not move. Things that do not move don't break very quickly. Everything will break eventually when the sun eats the earth or whatever, but for a good billion years or so, things that don't move tend to be quite resilient. Your solar panels do not move once they are installed. Because of that, there's a 25-year warranty. You know how I think Elizabeth said that those reminders that you said you like on your phone, and and Sharon, or Daisy, the technology, the reminders, the instant payment stuff. Well, your solar works the same way. If you've ever wondered, how do you even know if it's working? I mean, there's no fire or anything. There's an app for that. And if your solar panels are not working, you will get a notification. And then you'll send me a text. And I'll be like, okay, let's figure it out. But the good news is they work really, really well. That's why there's a 25-year warranty. And you can see exactly how much electricity you're making at all points of the day. And with that, those are our 4 points. We've introduced ourselves. We've raised some funds for some good causes. Hopefully y'all can tell that I'm not our big meanie. And we have a lady who'd like to get back in the pool with her hand raised, which is perfect timing because we were about to get to the last thing that I promised you we would get to, which is the Q&A. And I'll stay as long as you would like. But what Luke is about to do, for those of y'all who want to jump off, but can't think of any good reason why it doesn't make sense to at least get the numbers right, like getting back together with us for a few minutes to put the right numbers in there so you can make a good decision. Luke's going to drop a link in the chat so you can book a time to get back together with us. And if you just want to go ahead and book your time, if you need to change it, it's really easy. But a lot of people like putting it in there because y'all like reminders. So go ahead and book a time, hop off afterwards, or stay on and ask some questions and answers. And thank you for raising some funds. All right, Elizabeth, you got that hand up. Is everybody okay? She goes first. All right, floor is yours.
All right. Hurricane season. What happens if the roof comes off during hurricane?
Well, then your solar panels do too, and you have homeowners insurance for that. But your solar panels are very unlikely to come off unless your whole roof does. And you don't have to take my word for that. I'll show you a video. You want to watch a 1-minute video about here's solar panels installed in under 1 minute, except for my computer, which I just got, has decided to be slow for a moment. So, actually, I'm on the wrong thing. I shut it down. I'll have to open this. Bumsicles, guys. I had this video already pulled up and ready to go. And so we might have to watch a commercial. I don't have YouTube Red. Actually, I don't even, will this work without a bunch of echo since we're on YouTube? I don't know. We'll find out. Let me see. If this gets real weird, I'll stop. But I'm going to unmute this. So we might have to watch a commercial. I don't have YouTube Red. Yeah, it's doing its thing. All right.
In less than a minute.
Actually, I don't even.
This time-lapse video shows a real solar installation on a home in Newton, Massachusetts. The foreman's went
This is
solar
real
with an
weird.
Energy Sage's
I'm
pre-screened
gonna undo
installers and
this.
chose a 6.7 kilowatt solar system. Step
Yeah, it's
1,
doing its
prepping
thing.
the roof for
All right.
solar panels. Here, the team of 3 installers are placing racks on the roof that will hold the 24 solar panels. Step 2, connecting the team of 3 installers are placing installers and chose a 6.7
All right.
kilowatt
I feel like I'm
solar
living in
system.
some weird, y'all feel like you're going
Step
crazy
1,
right now?
prepping the roof for solar panels.
I feel like there's
Here,
50
the team of 3
kids
installers.
around. So Luke, you can't share your screen and pull this up by any chance, can you?
No, I can't. Not on my iPad, unfortunately.
We just put this video in today, guys. Sorry. But do y'all see those things on the house? They're bolted into the rafters. And if you're in Florida and a hurricane comes, before we can even put this on your house, you have to get a permit from your county. And the permit says how many attachment points it needs to have on it in order to blow off with the roof instead of blowing off and leaving the roof behind. Because, you know, if you're attached strongly enough, you just go together. And your solar panels and your roof are like that too. Now, here's something that's really neat that you might not have thought about, but it's also kind of like a hard hat for your roof, like a shield. Because in Florida, can you imagine how nice it would be to have an extra shade tree that covers most of your roof? That helps with your electricity usage too. And most people don't know that they're really pretty now. Like they're all black. And you don't even have to have them on your roof. You want to put a pergola out by your pool, Elizabeth, there you go. We can help you with that too. And that's what we designed our service for. Is just to have some fun, easy conversation with some cool people, make it really easy to raise funds, and hopefully you'll like us enough to give us a chance to really make what you want. And then you have as much time as you want to decide. But the one thing that you don't have time to decide on is whether or not you want to pay your electricity bill this month, because it's going to come. It's going to come. And it's going to keep coming. It's not going to stop. So yes, let's hear it.
I have a question. If I already have a solar system for the pool, would that be replaced? Like how does it work as far as this?
So is the solar that you have for heating water solar thermal?
Yes.
That's very efficient. Is it new enough to still be working, or is it getting wonky?
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah, and
I
so
mean, it still works, but it's kind of rusting and ruining my roof already.
right, and I think that's what. So there's two different types of solar panels. There's the kind that you have that have water that run through them all the time, and they get rusty and they get leaky, and they're just move. But they're awesome at heating water.
Yeah.
And then there's this type of solar panel, which makes electricity that you can do whatever you want with, including heating your pool. But when we get back on together, we can just look at the numbers. We can say, okay, these panels, these old panels, which it might be good just to get them off the roof. But if you want us to take them down, we can. If you want to replace them and have the same kind for your water and then extra ones for your electricity, we can totally do that. It's up to you, but it's just a math equation to figure out what makes sense.
Okay.
And we're good at those kind of math equations. You don't have to do it, so don't worry about it if you're bad at that. Oh, is that a hand I see up again from our sub-narrator? That's awesome. I love it when your hand's up. Like I wish everybody had questions. This is really fun for me. Thank y'all for making it fun for me. What's up, Elizabeth? Oh, you're muted, girl.
Okay, sorry. My roof is 15 years old. It was replaced after Hurricane Katrina, I think. Is it wise to get solar panels now or wait?
You're in like the worst spot. Like to tell you the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah, like in terms of roof life, right? Because if you had like 5 years left on your roof, what would make sense would be to replace your roof and get your solar at the same time, because the solar is going to protect it and it's going to last an extra 5 years to make up for the 5 years that you gave up. And you also get you get a 26% tax credit on the roof part too. So if you need to replace your roof, it's also not that bad of a time to do it, since you can put that tax credit and lower your FAFSA. You can put that on there as well. So the roof part that's covered in solar also counts for the tax credit. So a lot of people are getting a roof as quickly as they can, but here's the third option. The third option is, let's see, how much money are you spending a month on electricity right now? Were you supposed to be on a different one? And I don't even have your stuff up here, Elizabeth. We'll find you at some point. How much?
Around 275.
Okay, can we call it like 200 to make the math easy and know that it's actually a lot more than that? Okay.
Perfect.
So what's $200 over the course of a year?
2,400.
Over 10 years?
24,000.
So that's $24,000 that's going to be gone forever. And you won't be one day closer to paying off your electricity bill. So it would probably only take $1 to $3 grand to get the solar panels off and back on, and we can help you with that. So whatever that $24,000 could have gone towards paying off your mortgage or your electricity payment, your solar panels. Because you guys get that when they're paid off, you don't have an electricity bill at all. You're making your own electricity. When we're talking about saving money, we're just talking about the temporary monthly payment until it's paid off. So knowing that, if you know that you're going to spend 24 grand in 10 years that you're never going to get back, when that money could have gone towards paying off your electricity bill forever, then a lot of people believe that it makes sense to go solar, and then they can replace their roof later, or they can take advantage of the tax credit and just get it early, knowing it's probably the last roof they'll need. But that's up to you. But 24 grand versus 3 grand to get it up and down, usually it's pretty easy math equation for most people. But what else are y'all? Oh, y'all are still on here. This is great. What else are y'all wondering about? Here's a question for you. If somebody were going to buy your solar panels for you, so Daisy wins the lottery, Elizabeth, and she's like, "Hey, you're my girl. Color guard band, stick together. I got some solar panels I want to give you." What kind of questions would y'all want to know, even if they were free? Because yes, they save you money. Yes, you might not believe me still. Yes, it's zero down. That's all okay. We'll get through that together eventually. But let's pretend they're free for a second. What kind of things would you want to know? You want to see what a bill looks like? Here's somebody. Remember how you stay connected to the utility company? So this person at night, they bought $92 worth of electricity. During the day, they made all they needed plus $107 more. So their electricity bill was negative. You ever got a negative electricity before, Daisy?
I wish.
Well, guess what? If you click that link in the chat box and you get back in touch with us, we'll be glad to help you do it. We've helped people go solar in 15 states. And we're, you know what the big joke about all this is? Because y'all are willing to show up and be good-hearted people to raise funds for something you care about, it saves you a lot of money too. Because we never send salespeople to your house. We don't have to buy billboards. We don't do any television ads or online ads. We just have conversations like this that hopefully haven't been too unpleasant, where you find out that you can actually get a negative bill and it's not a fluke, because the next month they did it again. This is last year. This is somebody in Texas that just went solar. Then you did it again. Then you trade in all of your it's like rollover minutes. So then they traded. Y'all remember what happened in Texas in February? It got real cold. So he needed to use some electricity. And so he traded in all of his credits that he made during that month to kick the heat up. And he actually owed the utility company $1 that month. They're always happy to sell you the extra if you need it, but you don't have to buy it. And oh, there it is. That's what I was trying to show. Oh, Daisy, yeah, like you're about to say something.
You guys work with the utility companies, like with Tico and these companies, or?
Yeah, we do everything. Like, to say that we work with them, if somebody's watching this on like YouTube, might sound like I'm lying. We are not a partner of Tico. Like, Tico doesn't give us the money to give to y'all.
No, the reason I'm asking, because I get a lot of people trying to sell the solar panel, and that they work with Tico, like they're partners with Tico. So this is why I'm asking.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Like I really don't know, but like I don't know why they would say this, but
It may be true. For all I know, Tico has licensed some local solar company to help their people go solar. I have not heard of that company, but it could be true.
okay.
But I would imagine, knowing Tico, and they're great at keeping your lights on right now. Luke, you want to tell them about, I'll give you an example. Luke told me about this in Texas. There was a company that did that, where it was like the official provider of the electricity company, and their price, because they had to pay to be the official provider of the utility company. And who ends up paying for that?
The consumer.
The consumer. And so this particular example, the prices were almost double what ours were.
Mm.
I don't even know if the Tico exists, but to answer your question about do we work with Tico, yes, in the sense that we can make sure they turn your solar power on and they give you your credits for them. Like, we know how to do all that part of the process, and you won't have to worry about that at all. The price that you see is for everything. It's for what we earn. It's what the electricians and roofers earn. It's the insurance, or not the insurance, but the warranties, and for getting it all interconnected for you, making sure that it's connected and making sure that it's turned on. So there's nothing hidden. And the Tico part, we do that for you. Okay. Unless you want to learn how to do it yourself and come be our teammate and change careers, then hey, we're always looking for, we have 90 million people to help go solar. So we'll see how much you like what we're doing, Daisy. But did I answer your question clearly? Yeah. Or okay, cool. Well, it's getting about 49 after. I'm not in a hurry, but the one thing that I don't want to do is to have a good first date and then talk a sun date. I know this isn't a type of, I use the worst examples. I don't want to meet y'all the first time and then have you not want to come see me again just because I talk your ear off, right? So I'm here to answer any questions you have, but if you can't think of any reason to not at least let us do this for you, then my invitation is to have you, do y'all know how to use a chat box? Do you see the chat box? Do you see the link? Luke, has anybody already signed up for that, or do we need to do that now without making it all?
I have not seen, I haven't looked actually. Let me look.
Cool. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes in case you have any technical problems, because people have been having technical problems. If you need to cancel later on, if you need to change your time later on, we're not going to cry about that. But there's just 4 of us on the team, so we have limited time. And if I recall correctly, reminders were a good thing. And instant payments were a good thing. So if you have some reason in your heart why you don't want to continue the process, please tell me so I can get better for the next people. But if you're open to letting us do this for you and having another Zoom conversation with me or Luke or Holly or John or Trey, you're under an hour away from being able to use solar energy. There's not much more work for you to do. It really is just figuring out how many panels you need and how you'd like to pay for them. Zero down, use your electricity bill to make your solar payment, or pay them off and don't have an electricity bill at all, or something in between. I'm not you. I don't know what you like, but I know how to help people get it. So Elizabeth, you're smiling. Did y'all find that link in the chat box? Cool.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. George, do you see that link in the chat box?
I sure do.
Oh, stop.
Can you think of any reason that I've given you that would make you not want to continue exploring?
I'm gonna look into it.
Awesome. And is it clear that the way to look into it with us, and you're welcome to get as many quotes as you would like, we'll even help you understand them. If you find a better offer, we'll tell you to take it, and then we'll go partner with those people to figure out how they did it. But is it clear that the way to look into it with us is to save a time? Because you fell off the Zoom for a second. I didn't know if you heard that part.
Yes, I did.
Okay, clear. Well, do you have any more questions?
No, I don't. Thank you very much.
Cool. Well, guys, I'll leave you with this then, and then I'll stick around and answer any more questions if y'all just want to hang out with me. Your choice matters.
Thank you. I scheduled my follow-up. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Daisy, let me ask you, why'd you do that? Like, what was it that made you think it would be a good idea?
Because like I want to know more, and I have like a couple of questions, so I'd rather not waste everybody's time and like ask them aside.
Well, thanks for booking the time. Do you want to ask it right? Do you want to get one out of the way before we go, so you don't have to like sleep on it too much?
No, I'm fine. I asked enough for today. Thank you.
And feel free to bring the whole family when you come. Bring all the kids and the grandmas and the spouses or anybody you want. We'll make it a family affair. You can rate 50 questions down, and if you spend 10 more hours with us and you choose not to go solar, I promise we won't cry or say anything mean about you. It's okay. We're still in the learning process, but thanks for showing up to raise some money for a good cause and making this really fun for me, Daisy. Have
Thank you. Have a good one.
You soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. See you soon. Elizabeth, you got some questions that you do want to ask? I think everybody's gone. Are you good?
No, I'm good. You answered my questions. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all too. Talk to you soon. Bye. Well, that was kind of fun. What'd you think about that one, Luke?
I enjoyed it. You did what
the people were great.
Elizabeth's still here. Yeah, but they were great. Yeah.
We were just talking
lie.
about you.
Yeah.
I swear I was trying to leave. It just didn't work. Bye.
It's okay, Elizabeth. We're only going to say good things about you.
It's okay. I'm a teacher. I get it. So have a nice night, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for being a teacher. See you, Elizabeth.
Bye-bye. Dang it. Leave. It won't let me leave.
I'll kick you
I
out.
swear I'm trying to leave.
I'll remove you. There you go. You're removed.
Cool.
All right, Luke. What were you saying?
I was saying I thought it was good.
You know what I liked about it?
What'd you like about it?
I like the tone and the slowness. I think that's the slowest and most I've ever done.
Yeah, I noticed that. And when I was watching John do the first one, I kind of noticed where going through like those 4 things, you gotta like just do it one at a time versus talking about all of them and going back. So I like that you did that.
I noticed that too. That's why I did it. John provided some a really good example for us. But
yeah,
I'm not. I didn't have the 50%. Didn't have an STA. We just had like one for folks that are signing up right now.
Yeah, we get to go back and talk to Daisy on Friday.
Yay! I loved it. I loved all those guys. They were so cool.
Yeah, they were fun. I agree.
I think I think I'll start asking people at the end, be like, so now there's 3 types of, I don't know, it's just so cheesy and salesy. What I feel like saying is just like, look, there's people who like reminders and there's people who don't. There are people who want to be left alone. And like, I'll come to you when I'm ready. And there's people who would like to have something in the calendar because they know they're busy.
That's pretty good, actually.
And so if you know that this is a good thing, then would you really be mad at a friend who keeps asking you to go to the gym? Would you really be mad at a friend who always asks you to do yoga? Would you be mad at a friend, who asks you to eat healthy food? Like, if you were planning on not doing it, you might not want to hear from that person. You just want to die in misery, right? But if you actually would like to be healthier, you're not mad at that friend for bugging you. So if you do not want us to ask you to do something good that matters for everybody, it's okay. And that's not some weird guilt trip thing. Like you do. But if you know that you're just the kind of person that it's real easy for you to put things off, even if it's good and you like the friend who reminds you, then if you didn't sign up for a time already, would it be okay if we reminded you each month that another month just went by?
People might just opt in just so they don't get texts every month.
I don't know. We'll get that part together, but I appreciate you being on and using your evening with me. Thank you for being creative today, Luke. Thanks for reaching out to folks and finding new ways to invite people into the process. Is there anything on your mind right now?
No, I need to figure out how to get my background like yours, but
I do think that this new style is already better than what we've been doing.
I agree. I'm for it.
So we'll keep getting better and better. Thank you, John, if you're listening, for changing it and helping me see the light. And we tie you today, but you got a better percentage. Love you guys.
All right, see you, Lester.
Bye.